What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about Twitter, which is a very weird website, very peculiar website here on the internet. It's a place that you can find some of the funniest, liveliest, nicest people you're ever going to meet on, as I've done with a lot of the people that I consider my online friends, or it's also a place where there's so much division and hatred and toxicity that it genuinely is kind of painful to even be on for like an extended period of time, right? So today we're going to be talking about Twitter and their inability, I guess, to police their platform from a pretty big, severe, growing problem that has unfolded on their website. So over on Twitter over the last, 2 years or so, it's been sort of a situation that's been blowing up. There's been a lot of child exploitation and support for child exploitation allowed on the platform. People have been sharing straight up disgusting images and videos on there, and their accounts have to be reported like dozens of times for anyone to like have anything done about them. There's people called maps that have been running around over there. That's as far as I'm gonna. They're stupid. It's what they are. Who legitimately try to excuse a lot of the unfortunate stuff that happens to children, and Twitter has become a website kind of, I think, known for this, right? Like, I think that a lot of people have started to kind of associate this problem with Twitter. And apparently it has become such a big issue, as a matter of fact, that the Russians are planning to do something about it, and they're actually stepping in to do something about this. So this is kind of crazy to hear, right? Because, you hear about these websites getting blocked in other countries and stuff. Usually it's for, like, political reasons. But according to the Russian government, this ain't that. So Russian authorities said Tuesday they would block Twitter in a month if it doesn't take steps to remove banned content, a move that escalates the Russian government's drawn-out standoff with social media platforms that have played a major role in amplifying dissent in Russia. Russia's state communications watchdog Roskomnadzor last week announced it was slowing down the speed of uploading photos and videos to Twitter over the alleged failure to remove content encouraging suicide among children and information about drugs and Club Penguin. The agency said Twitter has failed to remove more than 3,000 posts with banned content, including more than 2,500 posts encouraging suicide among minors. The platform responded by emphasizing its policy of zero tolerance for child exploitation, promotion of suicide, and drug sales. On Tuesday, Deputy Chief of Roskomnadzor Vladimir Zabotin argued that Twitter still wasn't complying with the demands of the Russian authorities. Quote, Twitter doesn't react to our requests appropriately, and if things go on like this, then in a month it will be blocked on an out-of-court basis. Sabotin told the Interfax news agency. He added that Roskomnadzor at this point is not registering specific steps by Twitter to remove prohibited content. Twitter did not respond immediately to an email request for comment. Now, Twitter says that they have like this zero tolerance policy in place and everything for child exploitation, but once again, like I just said, there's been a growing community of people on their platform that they have openly allowed to vocalize their support for essentially pedophilia for years now. I actually talked about this issue all the way back in like 2018. Because even then, like, the signs of the problem were becoming very visible. It was becoming more and more apparent that Twitter was letting this shit slide. Nothing was being done. At least nothing ample was being done. This has been something that's been going on for a long time. And now Twitter is trying to act like they've been caring about this problem, when, to put it simply, they have not. Twitter has not been doing anything to stop these types of issues on their platform. They have not been stepping in. They have not been even really batting an eye. Like I said, this has been something going on for years now, and there have been legitimate campaigns on Twitter to have these unfortunate things removed, where people are sharing these on accounts with thousands of followers. Not private accounts either, just out there in the open, willy-nilly type of stuff, right? And so people have been trying to have something done about it for a long time, and of course, nothing so far of significance has actually been done to curb this issue. So it seems kind of weird, though, that Russia is the country that's going to step up on this, right? Because obviously here in the United States, that kind of stuff doesn't fly either. And it really doesn't fly in most parts of the world, at least from what I understand. So it's weird that out of all places now, Russia is the only one that's standing up to combat this. Authorities have criticized social media platforms that have been used to bring tens of thousands of people into the streets across Russia this year to demand the release of jailed Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. The wave of demonstrations was the largest in years and posed a major challenge to the Kremlin. The authorities alleged social media platforms failed to remove calls for children to join in on the protests. Russian President Vladimir Putin has urged police to act more to monitor social platforms and to track down those who, quote, draw the children into illegal and unsanctioned street actions. The government's efforts to tighten control of the internet and social media date back to 2012, where a law allowing authorities to blacklist and block certain online content was adopted. Since then, a growing number of restrictions targeting messaging apps, websites, and social media platforms have been introduced. In 2014, authorities adopted a law requiring online services to store the personal data of Russian users on servers in Russia, and have since tried to make Facebook and Twitter comply with it. Both companies have been repeatedly fined for small amounts of around $50, and last year the equivalent of $63,000 each for not complying. The government has repeatedly aired threats to block the two social media giants, but stopping short of outright bans even though the law allows it, probably fearing the move would elicit too much public outrage. Only the social network LinkedIn, which wasn't very popular in Russia, has been banned by authorities for the failure to store user data in Russia. However, some experts have said the authorities might seriously consider the possibility of bans this time around. Now, of course, you know, they're using this thing like, oh, we're saving the children to kind of, I guess, defend their possible ban of Twitter in the country of Russia, but when you really look behind it and you look behind the smoke and mirrors, it doesn't appear that this is the reason why whatsoever. Now, it's a very noble cause to kind of play the back of, right? To be like, oh, you know, we think so much bad stuff is happening with kids on Twitter, we're going to jump on and we're going to handle this and make sure that none of this happens again. We're going to protect the children. But that isn't really what's going on here, right? That's not necessarily what seems to be at play. In fact, what this more or less seems to be is a circumvention of outright censorship by the Russian government to kind of do it by proxy, okay? Because they're using the excuse, right, that they want to protect kids to ban Twitter, which is going to elicit a very emotional response, right? You know, parents, people who have younger siblings, things like that, registered, normal fucking human beings, right? That are just regular old folks. They're going to support the idea of helping children and saving them. But in reality, this appears that the government just wants to ban this platform so that it can't be used to organize protests or use free speech against the government. Now, this is an issue that we've seen globally pretty much ever since the internet's really started to rise and social media has become a thing. Governments around the world that do crazy things and restrict human rights and, you know, don't really run their countries very well, they love the concept of blocking social medias because if they can block them, people can't use them to, you know, tell everybody else in the world what's going on. And Twitter is no exception. Twitter may be one of the biggest social medias in the world, but the Russian government at this point, they have a lot of influence. They have a lot of power. They really could do something like this if they wanted to. And I really don't think people should take their hesitation to do it previously for not complying with their data laws as any reason for them to not do it this time. This time, they're actually doing it for a reason that protects the government. The government wants to protect itself there. People in Russia have watched as the government over the last decade or 2 decades in all reality has gobbled up more and more power. They have more and more laws that they can abuse, loopholes they can abuse to suppress human rights. And this is another one of these situations, right? Obviously, most people, especially here in the United States, who would see the right to protest, the right to say something bad about the government, the right to free speech as human rights. But people like Alexei Navalny in Russia, when they do that, they end up getting fucking poisoned and nearly killed. And now they're being unlawfully held in prison by the government. So it's those kind of things, man, that I think that we kind of overlook here in the West, right? Here in the United States and other places where we have free speech and things like that. Being able to criticize the government and being able to point out flaws in your country and what's going on is fundamental, right? It's important. I mean, the whole concept of freedom literally revolves around that, right? You know, if the people in power have unlimited control and you can't say or do anything against them, right? It's much harder to take them out of power and to challenge any authority that they have. So sure, while they're hiding behind this preconceived notion, I guess, that they're going to protect kids, that they're going to do this to save people, it really doesn't seem that way. I mean, maybe this will, I guess, scare Twitter into acting a little bit more. I don't know how popular Russia is with Twitter. I don't know if it's going to be a significant loss of user base to the point that, like, they want to protect their own interests and they do listen. But if anything, that seems like it's going to be more of like a unintended consequence of this entire thing rather than like a direct action taken in order to appease the Russian government here. So anyways, that's going to be it for this video, though, you guys. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch at SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, watching Twitter potentially get banned over in Russia, who really knows if it's going to happen or not, and signing out.